Microphone test, check. All right, hopefully that works, and we'll try to answer some question and answer today. That works, yeah, perfect. All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. For people who are watching from different time zone, so welcome today. I actually was planning to do a Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A since I assume about a month or so. So hence I've decided to take this time today, Sunday morning, to answer some of the questions that you guys may have. So yeah, welcome everybody for the Q&A. Questions, answers, anything that you want to ask, anything that you want to talk, anything that you want to discuss. I think this would be a great opportunity where you can ask your questions live, and I will be answering your questions as well as and when we get them. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining in, and I'll basically turn on the chat window now. So if you guys have any questions, your questions shall be listed on the the screen over here. So yeah, if you have any questions, if you have anything that you want to talk about in general, about systems, about technology, about feature request, or about any videos that you would like, anything that you want to learn, I think please use this opportunity to use the chat window and ask questions as we go along. So now I'll be here for about 15 to 20 minutes. So please put down your questions, and we'll try to answer them shortly. We have Vinit Bhatt says, hi, great video, love your content. Hi Vinit, thank you so much, and thank you for joining on the live Q&A. And yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know. If you have any other suggestions, let me know. If you have any request as well, please let us know. We'll put that on the to-do list. But thank you so much for joining in, Vinit Bhatt. Yeah, so basically, if you want to talk about anything, if you have any doubts or if you have any questions, please do ask them, right? And I hope you guys have enjoyed all of the videos on Hoodie. I guess I have 40 videos roughly on around Apache Hoodie. So also I have an entire series for beginners on Glue for beginners, right? Where I teach PySpark, Glue, ETL, all that stuff, infrastructure, how to schedule your Glue jobs, error handling, all that stuff is there on my Glue playlist as well. So make sure to check that out. And yeah, if you have any questions, please put down your questions, and very happy to answer them as and when we go. So yeah, if anybody has any questions or suggestion, please use the chat window, and happy to discuss, If there are no questions, then I can maybe share some of the insights. I actually just uploaded a video right now, but I think I can also share some of the insights. So let me quickly share my screen. If you guys don't have questions, I can share some of the insights here. So this is basically how we developed a internal, distributed scraping system, and this is our success story. Today, we scrape more than about 200 to 300 jobs are running every single day in parallel, concurrent, right? That's about 8,000 jobs a month, right? So roughly about 97,000 jobs we are running on the system. On an average, we are growing about 100% every month for total jobs being added. And if you look at the cost, we literally have developed a system which is scalable, robust, right? So we pay about 30 cents in cost as well. But yeah, I just uploaded a video about that as well. So in case if you want to check, do check that out. And we are going to address now questions. We have a question from Vinit, says, I am an DET trying to shift to DevOps. Any suggestion for me? I do not have any suggestion for you, Vinit, because I'm not much familiar myself by DevOps. So I guess I won't be the right person to give you suggestion. If I was a DevOps, I think I would have given you the suggestion, but I probably won't, because I don't want to give you wrong advices, right? But if you need advices on cloud or data side, I guess I can definitely share my expertise there. Hi Arun, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining, Arun. Please, use the chat window and ask questions if you have any. I'm happy to talk and discuss them right now. But yeah, I think as the demand for cloud engineer grows, right? So does these applications are gonna produce more and more data. So I think the skills for data engineering is also gonna grow, and data engineering is a very popular and a trending field, and it really pays out pretty well as well, right? So I guess ETL side, data pipelines, transactional data lakes, warehouse, all that would really, really help you if you are into data engineering, especially. Arun says, have you have any plans to show how data quality is maintained in a data pipelines? Maybe from your experience. Yeah, so there are two ways. By the way, recently Amazon did announce data quality, right? So which allows you to monitor data quality as well, right? So there are a couple of ways. A, if you doing more batch oriented means you bring the data into the data lake, and then you have a batch job which will take the data from the raw zone and it will insert into the cleanse zone. At that time, you could check for data quality. AWS has a new feature where you could easily do data quality and validation. For example, if a column was there or not, if it is none or not, etc., etc., and then you can mark the job as failed if that happens. So you could bake that into your Glue code as well, right? So if you're using Glue ETL, I think you can directly use all these features in that. For streaming, it is a bit complicated because it would be hard to like throw an error, right? Because in stream you have to stream everything into a raw zone, and then after that you might have to cleanse stuff, right? But these are some of my suggestions, as I said. Ideally, we bring everything into raw, Arun, and then once we have everything in the raw zone, from there we run like job to get into the cleanse, and there we validate, we do cleansing part, right? So I primarily have only used AWS most of the time, so probably I would be able to give you answers only on that. But I'm sure there are a lot of other stuff as well people might have tried. And if you know any, let me know. Maybe probably I'll learn something today as well. So, but yeah, in general, AWS is what I would say. And anytime you wanna, again, if the quality doesn't meet and you can fail a job, so basically you can just raise an exception in the Glue job, and your job will be basically marked as failed. So that would be the answer, Arun, for you. We have Vinit Bhatt, and he has a question. Says we have an Elasticsearch cluster to migrate behind a VPC. Okay, so behind a VPC, we have two issues. One, we use an old version of ES5. Oh, and second, we have multiple mappings in an index. We have multiple mapping in an index. How can we migrate that without any downtime? Oh, that's pretty nice one actually. Actually, one of my friends recently was working on this problem where he was working with a company where he had to migrate the Elastic, and he asked me the same exact question. What I suggested him is to take like a snapshot of your data. So I'll tell you two ways. The fastest way. So the fastest way is to basically take snapshot of your data, put the data into S3. So your old cluster, I don't know if it's a snapshot feature is there in Elastic 5 or not, but take a snapshot, put it on S3, and then your other Elasticsearch cluster, load the data from the snapshot or basically from the S3 repository, right? So that's the fastest way to do stuff. Now, coming about mappings, unfortunately, as far as I know, as I said, I think there is no like an easy way. I can ask my friend who was working, and I guess he wrote a code, a Python script which loops over all the mapping in the Elasticsearch, and then it will basically insert into the new cluster. But most probably at this point you gotta write some sort of a script. There won't be like a click buttons, unfortunately. So I would say for mappings and other stuff, I think there you have to write a script. Now, coming to the third part of your question, how do you basically avoid downtime? This is a tricky one because if data is basically being inserted into both into your old one, now here you need to go. What you need to do is when you migrate, right? So first you basically so all your data is going to the old cluster, right? Now when you are about to migrate, so first migrate the old data that is existing data is there on the new one, and then what you do is basically when you switch, make sure at the time of switching you're putting data in the old and new cluster both, and once it is successful, once it is working, then shut off the old part. So hopefully that basically gave you some idea. Arun says, thanks Somil. Libraries like Great Expectation, Deque are getting popular. Oh, I might have to see, man. I haven't taken a look at that, Arun, but yeah, I think I'll definitely take a look at that. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions? Happy to discuss your issues that you are facing in software, maybe related to data or ETL, and I'll be happy to answer them. Arun says Deque is also used in AWS ecosystem. I might have to check. I haven't. I'm hearing it for the first time. Which is why I think it's a great opportunity for me to learn as well. So let me see. You said DEEQ. Okay, DEEQ. Yeah, you're right. AWS Lab. Yeah, PyDeque. PyDeque is a Python API for Deque. Is a library built on the top of Apache Spark for defining unit test. Really? That's amazing. Unit test for data, which measures data quality in a large. That is freaking amazing, bro. I am definitely gonna learn about this for sure and make videos now. Thanks, bro. Yeah, that's amazing. Ah, that's great. So from PySpark, import a row and you import that library. Yeah, so I guess in Glue, you just have to install this external dependency. And oh, it's pretty good. It's, yeah, I'll explore this one for sure. Thanks, man. That's good to know. All right. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. YouTube is more about learning, right, from one another, right? So by talking, by chatting, I think we all learn a lot, right, from one another. That's great. Deque. Interesting. Yeah, I'll learn something on that for sure. All right. Any other questions? I'm more than happy to answer, talk, debate. Did you guys check the videos on streaming? I have a lot of videos I made on streaming solution with Flink, Glue streaming job. We did the CDC using AWS DMS. We did using Debezium. So I think you should check that out as well. I think if you are into data, I would highly say you want to learn those stuff, right? For sure. If not, at least DMS, because a lot of time companies will ask you to build like a CDC pipeline, and that would help you, trust me. So all right, any other questions that we can answer, any topic that you want to talk about, happy to do so. All right, if you guys have any other questions, use the chat window, please. Bro, are you an AWS community hero? Well, I'm not. I'm not a AWS community hero. I just like to learn and teach. Yeah, not a community hero. I mean, all that is fine because what happens is then when you become all these community and all these stuff, then you have to do certain things. And I just, in general, I would just want to learn stuff. I just want to enjoy the learning process. I like to like meet people. Like for example, now you told me about this Deque stuff. I'll definitely check that out. So yeah, in general, I just love learning because I have like a schedule on Saturday, Sunday. I learn stuff. So. Oh yeah, I am aware about ChatGPT 3. In 5 days, 1 million user. and now they launch a subscription, and they are gonna make a $2 billion by the year end. And probably Microsoft took a 49% stake in their company. Yes, I'm aware about ChatGPT. That is amazing. Yeah, I'm aware about all the trending stuff. I try to at least know what in general it is, right? So yeah, yeah, Chat GPT 3 for sure. Who doesn't know about that? It can write code, it can write essay, write poetry, stories, everything, infrastructure code, everything. Chat GPT. Yeah, any questions that I can answer, happy to do so. When it says it actually helps just to get things started. Oh yeah, absolutely. Arun says ChatGPT was able to generate a few data pipelines. I tried it. Oh really? Man, yeah, but that's the thing. Like most of the time, it's the code has errors, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, 60-70% time it generates like correct stuff, but I would still say they would need a human presence. Like they can't design a complete data pipeline. Like if you say, hey, bring data from like Aurora and into S3, is he gonna like write an infrastructure code for like DMS and all that? I doubt. Maybe in the future, but not at the current point. So what I'm trying to basically communicate is there would be a human involvement at any point. Sure, maybe 10 years, 20 years down the line, but yeah, that's just my thought again. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, if you have any topic that you just want to chit chat here, please put your questions, and we can just talk about that. So yeah, tell me what's trending in the data these days, man. I've been learning again, as I said, right? I've been trying to learn, trying to learn like Flink and other like streaming stuff, right? More there. Trying to develop my skill set over there and streaming area, Kinesis, Kafka, Flink, Spark streaming jobs, Glue streaming jobs. Yeah, you guys tell me what are you guys working on, or something interesting that I can learn, or I should be learning. Yeah, I mean, it will be fun, right? Because, for example, now I know about that PyDeque that I'm gonna learn. So yeah, just wanna chit chat here. That's all. All right, and if you have any questions, use the chat window, and just pop in your questions, and we can debate or talk about that. Arun says I used to work on AWS, but of late I have been working on Azure. Oh really? That's nice. Yeah. So the thing, like, yeah, e- yeah, yes and no. Like in my area, like if I were asked to work on Azure, I would just say no, because the reason is I wanna I wanna excel. I wanna be an expert in a particular domain. I can't really learn every single thing, and everybody knows that, right? You can't learn every single thing. Yeah, good to know stuff, but you really have to channelize and go in a particular domain for becoming a next subject matter expert. So since I have spent so many years on learning a lot of stuff on AWS, I think that's the reason I'm more just on cloud, because I know without cloud nothing is possible. Companies are moving to cloud, companies wanna scale, companies wanna develop serverless solution. So cloud is always gonna be there. I mean, irrespective whether it's Azure or AWS, but cloud skills are always gonna be there, right? It's never gonna be, and it's a thing that you always have to keep up as well. As I said, it's because new things are being added, right? When it says I'm working on Elasticsearch migration, I use Elastic Dump to migrate small data that was left from past data migration. Hey Vinith, just use what do you call this? Ingest pipeline, man. Why you have a reindex pipeline? Why don't you just use that? You can directly point it to the other cluster and call it a day, and you can do the processing on the Elasticsearch cluster itself. Not sure if you've heard about that. Just search it up, called reindex. I think you can use that. Arun says Delta Lake is a day in and a day out. Uh, Autoloaders, Delta live tables similar to DBT are good. I watch your videos to stay up to date on Hoodie. Thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, I'm learning more towards Hoodie because Delta Lake's another. Again, this is my perspective. Delta Lake does not have like a cow and more. Hoodie has that. Um, Hoodie has a lot other feature. Hoodie has something called primary key or record key, which Delta Lake doesn't have. Hoodie also has like a pre-com key concept, which it doesn't have. Hoodie has out of the box index filters, which I guess Delta Lake doesn't have. And Delta Lake is more like they have made it an open source, but not completely. A lot of components are still like proprietary. Hoodie, it's community driven. Community decide what is important, what is not, and they work on that. So hence, I feel eventually everybody would be on Hoodie building transactional data like there because of a lot of features I said, right? More and other stuff, right? So that's my perspective, Arun. Just Vinit says, and I tried to work on Prometheus Grafana for real-time data visualization. Real-time data. Okay, that's great. Ideally, people, I'll tell you on AWS perspective, but people would use Flink there for real-time analytics and insight, ideally. But again, yeah, I mean, that's great, man. Prometheus and Grafana, that's great. See, at the end of the day, everything is the same thing, right? They're just solving the same problem, is what I want to say. Different name, same, does the same thing. I like to say this, do stuff that you're comfortable to do so. Don't make your life hard. For example, if I'm comfortable with jQuery, I'm gonna use jQuery. I don't care what other people say because I have to do the work. I would probably get it done faster. Just say, do stuff that you are more comfortable in. That's all I'm saying. Vinit says, I was not able to use the Reindex API. I wanted to use prod account as a source and a staging account as destination. I got some exception. Yeah, that's probably because of your VPC. You might have to ask your sysops on that VPC stuff. That is why you were not able to use the Reindex API, probably. If that doesn't work, the easiest way would be the snapshot. When it just take a snapshot of your indexes on S3 and then reload on the whatever prod cluster or that. That's the easiest way. That's what we did as well, basically. So we move data from QA to prod. The way we do that is we migrate all the data to QA first. We then take a snapshot into S3. Then we load that into the prod using that snapshot. So that's how we have a pipeline from QA to prod to move data into Elk. So we use snapshot again. All right, any other questions? I'll stay for like five to 10 more minutes. And if you have questions, I will try to answer them, right? And yeah, if I'm not able to answer your stuff here, you may shoot me an email. Don't send me like an error code. I'm not gonna reply probably if you send me an error code. But if you draft it well, I'll definitely reply that for sure. So Vinit says, yeah, I watched your snapshot video. We'll do that to migrate the major data and then probably migrate off. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the most easiest way to do that. Yep. And make sure when you do all that, when you write any data migration scripts, always, so recently I told my team, like we were doing some stuff, make sure to have like a checkpoints. And now I'm assuming, what checkpoint means is anytime the script stops, it should resume from that point. You don't wanna, so for example, if you're migrating all the mapping, let's say you have 100 mapping, your script started and you are on the 5th mapping and something went wrong and the script stopped. Now when you resume, it should not start from 0. It should start from the where it left, right? So you want to have a code to do that. The way we do that is basically we Let me see if I have it. I have to search. Do I have it somewhere? I have to search. Let me see if I have it. If I have, I'll show you. If I don't have, I'll say I don't have right now. I don't have it handy otherwise. But yeah, you know what I mean, right? Basically, write a checkpoint code. You can use S3 as a checkpoint, or you can use DynamoDB to store the metadata, and anytime the script run, it would resume from that point. So I think that's very, 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 very important to do the checkpoint. Let me see, man. I have it, man. I mean, I have like a pseudocode that I can share for sure. So give me a sec. If I can find, let me see if I have it. I guess I am pretty sure because we were doing like a big migration of like a millions of data points. Let me see. So yeah, we do a lot of data migration stuff, man, all the time. Hold on. There you go. Do you see that, Vinit? God damn it. Why is it so hard to? Yeah, so basically, you can have a logger class, you can have an S3 class, you have a Datadog class, you'll have a checkpoint metadata. This is the data points, table name, checkpoint value, checkpoint date, process ID, and a job ID. And then here you can have like these methods: delete checkpoint, update checkpoint, load checkpoint, is checkpoint. Is checkpoint basically means whether you have a checkpoint on S3 or not, which means anytime the script runs, it would resume from that particular point. So your code will become something like this. So whenever you start any sort of migration or any script, you say if checkpoint, and I'm writing pseudocode, okay? So if checkpoint, if the checkpoint exists, load the checkpoint, right? So if the checkpoint exists, load the checkpoint. If the checkpoint does not exist, well, then start your migration, whatever you have here, range, whatever, 1, 2, whatever you're doing here, right? And then basically whenever you're working with these stuff, you will always should have a try catch. So like have a try block, right? Indent this guy here, implement your logic here, and then I would say exception as E, and anytime there's an exception, update the checkpoint. So basically where it failed, right? So basically develop a logic. So this is like a UML that I'm showing you, but I'm sure you got the idea what I'm trying to say. So yeah, we have a lot of templates in my company, as I said, right? All these are like just a bunch of templates. Wait a second. Oh, there you go, the comments. So yeah, you can use Dynamo or S3 as a checkpoint, right? So yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, make sure you use that, because when you're running long migration script, because yeah, when you run like long migration script, you don't want to. If it stops, it's a freaking mess, because you gotta start all over again. Like I was working with a script where we had to move data from some source into Dynamo, and it was about close to 300 million records. Think about it. If it starts from beginning, my manager is gonna kill me because of the cost. Imagine 300 million data, right? So you have to have a checkpoint, right? Which means anytime it stops, you store the last point where it failed. And what you also do, Vinit, so say you're doing for I in whatever range, initialize a counter, and every time you go over a batch, right, then say counter is equal to counter plus 1, and then say if count modulo, which means you are updating the checkpoint on S3 at an interval of, let's say, 5,000 or 10,000 record, which means after every 10,000 record, you're going to update on S3. So anytime it starts, it's going to start from that checkpoint, basically. So that's the code that I was showing you, basically in a nutshell, the UML diagram that I was talking about. So yeah. So I hope that made sense. We have Hello World says, saw some of your videos, that you are using in the company AWS account for YouTube, AWS Management Console top account, job in your company allow you to do? Yeah, I mean, I don't see a reason why, right? It's a sandbox account, basically. It's not like what you call this. It is a sandbox account in a nutshell, basically, which means you can delete that account like soon, So yeah. So Vinit, yeah. So when you do all this mapping, also like use either S3 or Dynamo. I would say use S3. to start with, and at an interval. So if you have like a batch of, let's say you're doing 1,000, so after every 10,000 record, update the S3 with the last data key or last document ID on S3. So that way, when you resume, you can start from that. So that would be my some suggestion. And Vinit, again, this might be a little complicated, but what I want to also show you is, let me show you. Let me share my screen, man. That's why I said, ask questions. I'll happy to answer them, man. I've done a lot of stuff in the data, man. Like 3-4 years. That's all I've done. So let me share my screen. YouTube. So Vinit, let me show you first. Download. So first, have a class, something. Take a screenshot or something like this. You can develop this class. Again, this is a nice object-oriented code where you have this class which inherits from all these class, right? So see how I'm developed it, right? Good naming convention, they all return a particular data type. They have a logger class which will do all the logging. Anytime something fails, it will log stuff. Now what you also want to do is, we need, say this is your job, right? So every time your job starts, create a process ID. So this will be a UUID, right? And then you can change the status of the UUID to in progress. So now anytime the job completes, you will update the status of this to complete. So now in the log file, you know what was the process ID, what was the status, what time it started, what time it ended. So to be more precise, if I had to talk here, let me show you. You'll see what I'm saying. Hold on one sec. I'll show you because I made in this system. One sec. Let me open this one. One sec, Vinay. Let me show you something here. Look, so whenever a job starts, it creates a process ID. A process ID is a unique identifier. Now you can have a job type. So the job type will be either ETL, long running jobs. You'll have a status ID. Status ID basically means whether it's success, it is progress, whether it failed, what time it started, what time it failed, right? And if it did fail, you can update the error message. So this is like a metadata. So that allows you to track the job, basically what time it started, what time it ended, and if it did fail, what happened. Then each process can have several tasks. These are your essentially your Python functions, right? That you're gonna log, which means anytime something fails, you would know which function exactly it failed and at what time. So think about that as well when you write like scripts, okay? So hopefully that would also help you, I'm assuming. So yeah, for long running jobs, like have these metadata, process, task. So that will allow you to basically monitor process on a high level, whether it's success, failed, what time it started, what time it failed, how long it took, right? And then checkpoints, just checkpoint will basically help you to resume the job from where you left. So some suggestions on the ETL part. All right, any other questions that we can answer? Any other questions that we can answer today? Please put down your questions, and if you have any questions, very happy to debate just the way I did right now about checkpoints, metadata, etc. So yeah. Vinit says, thank you for the information, much appreciated. No problem, Vinit, anytime. Anytime if you have questions, just ask the questions. I'm always happy to answer that. All right, guys, looks like I'm gonna hop off. It's um, already 10 o'clock. So thank you very much for joining on the live session. I really enjoyed talking to everybody. If I didn't probably answer your question, you may write an email. But if you're gonna send me like error message and this code doesn't work, that doesn't work, I'm probably not gonna reply to your emails. So if it is don't send me error messages on email. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, that's all I have for this video. Keep smiling, keep programming, keep learning, keep up the good work. And if you have any questions, let me know. And otherwise, I'll see you in the upcoming next videos, and maybe probably the next Q&A we'll do next Sunday. I'll try to do weekly or bi-weekly at least. I'll try my best. But thank you so much for joining in.